If you're considering purchasing a Blackstone electric griddle, you're in the right place. In this video, I will review the Blackstone 22-inch E-Series griddle using the following scale. This has to be one of the best looking electric griddles in my opinion. The orange and black color scheme looks great. It has a unique look with the glass top, and I'm a big fan of the digital display with the light-up dials. The dials feel a little flimsy, but everything else makes it feel like a tank. The body is a thick plastic, and the lid is a heavy metal. I love the ability to operate two separate zones with temperatures ranging from 200 to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. Being able to see your food through the glass lid is also a huge perk. The drip tray, the lid, and the cooking surface can all be removed if needed. The glass window works well, but it will collect moisture. Keep in mind the lid needs some space behind it in order to open all the way, so you likely could not use this under a cabinet. It has an interesting hinge system where you can accidentally pull the lid off if you're lifting from the wrong angle. But once you understand how it works, you'll have no issues. The non-stick coating works well. Cleanup is super easy for foods like pancakes and eggs. You won't need more than a quick wipe from a wet paper towel. However, it's a different story when you're cooking with beef, chicken, or turkey. Residue from these foods tends to adhere to the griddle surface, and cleanup is not as easy because you can't use any metal scrapers or spatulas or scrubbies with abrasive material. Sometimes I'll use a wet paper towel to soften the residue, but for more stubborn residue, you'll need to remove the cooktop and wash it in the sink with soap and water. For the tougher situations, I've found that it's best to use this scrubby. It has some abrasiveness to it, but they say it's safe for non-stick surfaces. I don't know if it's totally true, but this definitely looks like a face you can trust. You can also throw this scrubby in the dishwasher, which is also great. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check these out. I've tried cooking at lower and higher temperatures, but still seem to get this residue problem. Blackstone says you should not use sprays because the propellant can degrade the non-stick surface, but you can still use oil. I found using a basting brush works best for applying oil or butter to the surface. Otherwise, it tends to run off to the edges since the surface is slightly dome-shaped. You will find the heat is not perfectly distributed across the surface, so there will be some slightly uneven cooking in some areas. However, that's pretty par for the course when it comes to griddles. But the biggest complaint I've read in reviews online is that the surface temperature drops when you put food on and it doesn't recover. I can confirm that you will lose heat, especially when cooking frozen food, but it's much less significant when foods aren't frozen. The thing to remember is that this will happen with all griddles, but others don't show you the temperature loss because they don't have this type of digital display. So although the griddle was never able to get back to full temperature, we were still able to cook these with no problem. If you keep in mind you're cooking with an electric tabletop griddle, you'll realize this thing actually performs very well, but you're not going to get the same performance as you would out of a cast iron propane griddle. I think the E-Series is a good value. The cost is higher than others, but you're also getting a much larger cooking surface and more features. Check the link in my description for the most recent price. By using this link, it helps my channel at no extra cost to you. Overall, I rate the Blackstone 22-inch E-Series an 8.3 out of 10. It's not a propane griddle, but you do have the perks of being able to cook inside or outside. This certainly won't perform as well as a cast iron propane griddle, but compared to other electric griddles, I think this is a great pickup.